team tumble. And there's a big cheer from everybody. Well, who'd be unofficial? One of the lighter moments of the game so far. Still drawing a giggle or two from the officials here. Ball touched on the ground. It's Tommy Furlong, the official there, the linesman on the far side. John Finn has slipped as he was about to take that one. Well, they juggle around with it, and it's taken by Noel Durkin. How they badly need some scores up there and a bit of penetration as well. Mick Lyons, however, defiantly out to McEntee. Carrying it on to Liam Hayes. There's great understanding, of course, between Meath's duo in midfield. The belt into space. It's Michael Collins. Jerry McEntee can't hold. It spills away from his grasp. Down to Tommy Morgan. Oh, that's a giveaway of a ball. Matty McCabe chasing back. He's got support there if he wishes to use it. And Martin O'Connell. Anthony Finnerty, the Mayo player. Porrick Lions. This very mobile Meath team. Colm O'Rourke. Chip on towards Jinxie. David Beggy. Once again angling for the score. And he's put it over. His first, 9 between them in the early stages of the second half. The champions now playing like champions, getting first to the ball, very deliberate in their passing movements. That broke down, picked up again by David Beggy. Good solo and a fine execution at the finish. Well, they may have taken 20 minutes to assert themselves, but there's no question about it now. Meath very much in the ascendancy. Taken quickly. Michael Collins overstretching, and it's Colm Coyle looking sharp. Getting it on to the shooting boot, off the post and down for his third point. What a super sub he's proving to be. Came back from America just a couple of weeks before the Leinster final. Played well enough in the Leinster final, but he's playing really well this afternoon. Been marked there by Willie Joe Padden. At this stage you'd expect to see Willie Joe Padden play a little bit further up the field, in midfield in particular. Push there on TJ Kilgallen, who's got a plaster now over the right temple. John Finn. Oh, that's another giveaway of a ball, completely mishit. Stafford takes up a good position. Untoots Flynn, who was nudged from behind by Jimmy Brown. Bernard Flynn again. Is an equally poor pass. Passing is very slack at this stage. Some untidy passages of football. Durkin. A chip inside, but there's nobody playing full forward. Mick Lyons having an easy time of it. O'Malley. Plenty of Mayo players in midfield, but they need players in there in front of goal. McHale still operating out around the 40. They're not making the switches, which is rather surprising. McEntee tussling with TJ Kilgallen. The referee says that's going to be a Mayo free. Carney trying to meet it. It runs back to Mick Lyons. Intended for Colm Coyle, cut out by Frank Noon. Tom Morgan getting a little leeway. And the final shot coming in from TJ Kilgallen, the midfield player. The forwards simply haven't been able to do it. On a day when Mayo were hoping to restore some pride in Connacht football, which really has been in the doldrums now since the mid-60s. Noon looks well targeted, but it drops slack into the arms of Mickey McQuillan. And you begin to sense the frustration now of the defenders. It's Willie Joe Padden meeting it well, but will have to get rid of it quickly. Held off there by Colm Coyle. This is to Sean Maher. There's a push on Willie Joe Padden off camera, by the way. Maher. Well, we've seen a succession of efforts now from way out the field, and you sense that the rest of the players playing in defence and midfield just aren't on song with the forwards, who themselves haven't been on song all afternoon, it should be pointed out. Just two Mayo scores so far by Noel Durkin and Martin Carney. And there's the position with 30 minutes gone, second half. Great fielding by Jerry McEntee. Quickly dispatched forward, but cut out by Frank Noon, right half back. Mayo looking for a little bit more penetration and a bit more effort as well. Noel Durkin here. Joe Lindsay's loose inside, but he's held up. And elected to kick to Dennis Carney, who's now playing up around the half-forward line. Fisted down into space. They waited for it, weren't expecting it. McHale, the shot, a goal! What this game has so badly needed. And it's come 13 and a half minutes into the second half. An interesting ball dropped away to the right-hand side. Watch when it came back from the fist of Finnerty. Lindsay wasn't expecting it, neither McHale, and it was dispatched quickly to Liam McHale, who drove it in low, and a good goal. Well, will now Mayo get a little bit of confidence in themselves? They missed a lot of relatively easy chances. They'll be anxious not to let Meath off the hook. Kilgallen. There's 20 minutes remaining, remember. Bobby O'Malley is held back there by Liam McHale, the goal scorer. McHale's goal, the first to beat Michael McQuillan in this year's championship. McCabe seemed to be pushed as he was chasing for that. It breaks down to Martin O'Connell. Overhit the pass. Held, however, by Colm Coyle. Former halfback to Liam Hayes. Inside to Matty McCabe. Lavin beaten. Came out and the referee's going to signal a free in. Eugene Lavin hesitated when McCabe was racing down on goal. And Matty McCabe is injured in the incident. The referee has spoken to the goalkeeper. That was a good searching ball forward by Hayes. Watches the goalkeeper, made up his mind late to come. The ball favouring McCabe, the foot very high up, dangerously so, and no question the goalkeeper has to have his name taken. So Matty McCabe then, the 26-year-old, attended to there by the Meath physio. Sugar there exchanging a word with Colm O'Rourke. Quite a warm afternoon here in Dublin, around about 19 degrees. And you see Hill 16 almost ready for action. We'll follow the progress of Hill 16 with interest, when some of the games weren't all that terribly interesting in the last couple of weeks. And there it is, almost finished, ready for action. And most of it will be back in business from the hurling final in 2 weeks' time. Well, Anne Burton is still attending down there to Matty McCabe. Tommy Subru awards the free in. And just a reminder of the incident from the camera, nicely positioned to pick up that. That's Hayes' punt through. Watch as the goalkeeper came out late, and really a dangerous connection with McCabe. Punished by Stafford as always, his 7th score. And so 8 points separating the teams once again. McHale touches it on towards Maher, belts it forward towards Martin Carney. Anthony Finnerty inside for Martin Carney again. Barrow hasn't scored so far, but who's Mayo's leading scorer in the Connacht Championship, along with Mark Butler, he scored a goal and 8 points. Maher dispossessed. McCabe happily fit again, trying to link up with McEntee, but he gives it away. The ball spills out to Frank Noon, overhit that pass inside. Mick Lyons says thanks a lot, and he puts it back in the direction from whence it came. Rather a poor clearance indeed by Mick Lyons. Should have been a little bit more constructive, one would have felt. Once again Frank Noon pressing forward, challenged by McEntee. Back out to Martin Carney, who has yet to score. He did score. He scored a point in the first half. Nicely gathered by McHale in there. Once again McHale, 6'6" tall. When you're that high, you have a chance at the rebounds, but not a good finish. .16 minutes remaining. 13 points for Meath, 1-2 for Mayo. Harnan along the ground towards Colm O'Rourke. And the referee says you held it on too long. Well, the rule book says you must release the ball as soon as possible. And that word possible is rather interesting. O'Malley dispossessed but tackled from behind by Tom Morgan. Not a fair challenge. John O'Mahony there was spoken to by referee Tommy Subru. Officials very anxious, of course, to make sure that officials, team officials that is, and mentors stay off the field. Good pass from McHale, finding Sean Maher. Diagonal ball forward from Noel Durkin. Took it well on the run, trying to get inside Kevin Foley. Dispossessed by Foley, but illegally so, and that will be a 13-metre free, and the referee signals wide. Martin Carney has a chance then to secure his 2nd point of the afternoon. Over it goes, and that's now 1-3 to 13 points. So can they bridge the 7-point difference? Meath, without exactly playing out of their skins in the second half, still doing enough to maintain their advantage at all times. Carney now in a switch going to the half-forward line. Anthony Finnerty playing top of the right. TJ Kilgallen, arguably Mayo's best player this afternoon. Joe Lindsay. Touchdown, however, to Liam Harnan at centre half back. Jerry McEntee here, busy as always. Once again to Liam Harnan, playing well this afternoon. Not having ever shone in the Leinster campaign this year. He's had a good steady afternoon's football. Martin O'Connell directed down towards Colm O'Rourke, taken well, high in the air, and over she floats. He's got 2 points, both from play, and he always makes an important contribution, one of the senior players in the Meath team. Always good for a score or two, and when the side is in trouble, this particularly popular player always pops up to get a score when needed. Meath dominating the tempo of this second half. Not unduly worried, I think, by that goal that Liam McHale scored, because Mayo simply haven't been able to lift the game in the second half when needed. Colm O'Rourke ballooned that one back into midfield, fisted down by Martin O'Connell into the waiting arms of Willie Joe Padden. Outside towards Joe Lindsay. Unable to keep it in play, the flag is up. He thought he'd done enough. The whole of the ball has to be out over the sideline, and the linesman decided that it was. That's the time remaining, just under 12 minutes. Two players on the deck, picking themselves up. As Meath attack, and this is Brian Stafford. Changing direction, look at that confident play back to McEntee, who was loose. So they'll probe from the middle with Colm Coyle, but outside and wide. No doubt people will say afterwards this wasn't a particularly good Meath performance. Nonetheless, they're well ahead, and one senses that if they were challenged a little bit more, and if Mayo could even get to within 3 or 4 points of them, that they would still have something in reserve to contribute. Durkin, Lindsay, this looks a little bit more promising from the team in red and green. Morgan's half-hit shot, easily read by McQuillan. It carried little conviction, I'm afraid. Out to Hayes. Meath midfielders always take wing positions to gather from their own defence. There's Stafford, comes off his chest. Down to the tireless TJ Kilgallen. Fouled by Stafford. Michael Collins. Here's Anthony Finnerty. Along with TJ Kilgallen. Outside is Dennis Carney. And that's gone over the bar. Carney, who started out at left corner back, but he played in last year's Connacht Championship at centre forward. And he's showing some good attacking ideas. 3 players involved in that build-up. Finnerty, Kilgallen, and finally Carney. What a good shot. Meath then leading by double scores at the minute. Maher down to Liam McHale. Chipped forward towards Anthony Finnerty. Tom Morgan following, shouldering with Colm O'Rourke, but leaving it behind to Mick Lyons. He's had a fairly untroubled afternoon. Willie Joe Padden gathers delightfully, a nice fetch. Cross towards Noel Durkin's wing. Or will we have a late burst from Mayo? 7 points behind, well blocked by Kevin Foley. That's great covering. Down to Joe Lindsay, inside to Kilgallen, loose player outside him. He's going for his score himself, and he's put it wide. One of the few mistakes he's made, I think, in this second half. He had a player outside on that occasion. Oh, that's well gathered in midfield by Sean Maher, who was fouled. And that's the 11th free for Mayo in this second half. They've kicked 4 wides in that period as well. The Western followers giving their team every encouragement. Into McHale looking for another goal off the post, with McLyons there too. Down to Finnerty, and over the bar it goes. Anthony Finnerty's first score. And once again Liam McHale was very much involved in the thick of the action. Just 6 between them now. 7.5 minutes to go. Watch as that ball came in deep towards McHale. There was a good half block by McLyons. Watch for that. It came off the post, down to Anthony Finnerty, and was put over the bar. And Mayo making a substitution. It looks like Mark Butler who's coming in. Butler is the one who comes in. He scored a goal and 7 points against Sligo in the Connacht semi-final, and it's Morgan who's gone. This was a great young prospect a couple of years ago, but he's been hampered by injury since then. John Finn. And another free. John Finn, who'll remember his last semi-final here 3 years ago, for what became known as the John Finn affair. Kilgallen kicking, time running out now. What a pity they couldn't have strung together a few more promising attacks earlier in the half, when they had their chances. O'Malley. Back to Pádraig Lyons, that's half flat down to Kevin Foley, who's played really well and steadily at right half back. Down it comes to Dennis Carney. 6.5 minutes to go. Dennis Carney in. McQuillan ponders, mixes, and Finnerty dispatches it to the back of the net. Oh, what a turnabout! Mayo's second goal, and there is just a goal between them again. Dennis Carney drilled it in high. McQuillan wondered whether to come, whether to stay. In the end, he fumbled. It broke out and spilled away from his grasp to Finnerty, who pulled on it well and into the corner. There's just a goal in it. Well, this game looked over and done with a little while ago. I said some time ago that if there was just 3 or 4 points between them, I had the feeling that Meath might well find something in reserve. I wonder, will they? Cheers all around as the referee signals that it's going to be a free to Meath. They've been rocked somewhat by those 2 goals. Stafford, that's touched down by Jimmy Brown to Michael Collins, the fullback. This game has certainly come to life. Better late than never, I suppose. Bernard Flynn, slack marking. That's Frank Noon. Chased by Matty McCabe, and the Connacht champions fans continue to cheer for their faithful county. But it's into Colm O'Rourke. Foul by Michael Collins, no question about it, free in. Across on the far side of the field, I can tell you that Joe Castles is being got ready, just in case he's needed. 5 minutes to go. Yes, I think Meath are rattled at this stage. Stafford to take the free. An unerring finish, flawless as always. He's got 8 points, a magnificent contribution. Most of them coming from frees. 15 points to 2-5 for the margin. Joe Castles is in the Meath team, and it's going to be David Beggy, I think, who's going to go off. Beggy's gone, Colm Coyle's gone, right half forward. Well caught by Liam McHale. He's been so influential, he wants to take the free quickly. Remember, there are 4 points between the teams, but just 3.5 minutes remaining. TJ Kilgallen realising what they must do. Another score must come from this attack. Let's see. It drops down out of Jerry McEntee's arms, but booted clear to the waiting Dennis Carney. Joe Lindsay. Finnerty trying to keep it in play, but failing to do so. Most of the Meath attacks yield scores. Many of the Mayo attacks fail to do so. Willie Joe Padden jumping there with Joe Castles. It breaks down to Willie Joe Padden. A little flick outside. Joe Lindsay making it his. The pass forward. John Finn the recipient. Over the head of TJ Kilgallen, down towards Mark Butler. Jerry McEntee battling as always. There's the foul by Robbie O'Malley, however, on Joe Lindsay. And the referee is taking out the notebook. And Robbie O'Malley becomes the first Meath player to have his name taken. Committing the indiscretion, this is what happened. Following through, and there it is, sliding tackle. And we note that Frank Foley is now coming into the Meath team. Frank Foley, and Bernard Flynn looks like he's making his way off. Yes, Flynn is gone. On by McHale! Oh, it was so near. Well, that was near to being yet another score. It produces a 45. Finian Murtagh is the player who came on, by the way. Finian Murtagh is on. All of the action in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Going down towards Mickey McQuillan's goal. A minute and a half remaining. Martin Carney inside towards Liam McHale again! But the referee's whistle sounds no goal, no goal. He was inside in the square. The goal doesn't count. Well, that would have been a vital one. What a cliffhanger of a finish we'd have then. Came from the 45, watch where he was standing. Now the big question is, was he in the square when the ball came in? Yes, he was. It's not when the ball was kicked, it's when the ball ends up in the square that matters. So Meath breathe a sigh of relief. This semi-final was as limp as possibly it could be for most of the game, but it's finished in a welter of excitement. Joe Castles into space. TJ Kilgallen, he has had a great game. Full credit. So we've just got about 20 seconds of normal time remaining. Eugene Lavin to take the kick. Meath the leaders by 4 points. And that's going to be a free in. Martin Carney wants to take it quickly. The referee says, back you go there, Martin. You're experienced enough at 36 years of age to know where to place it. Words from TJ Kilgallen, advice. He'll chip it in. They need another goal. Oh, it was intended for McHale, but even he couldn't fetch that one. Well, we've got to credit both sides, I think, for a very exciting last 20 minutes of this semi-final. Meath looked worried on occasions, but retaining their composure now and their 4-point lead. Challenge, Noel Durkin in towards Mark Butler, can't hold however, and it spills clear into the arms of Mick Lyons. Lyons out towards Joe Castles. What a great servant of Meath football this man has been. He's actually the team captain. Michael Collins makes a fine catch. We've seen so much good football in the last 10 minutes or so. What a pity it's taken till then to produce this kind of style. Frank Noon, TJ Kilgallen, Porrick Lyons trying to get there first. Joe Lindsay pursuing. Mark Butler in. Still Mark Butler up towards Finnerty. Wasn't expecting it. Robbie O'Malley was. And Robbie O'Malley was being held off the ball, and that's going to be a free out. Well, a valuable free out to take some of the pressure off the Meath defence. We're nearly 2 minutes into injury time now. There can't be too much time remaining. Mayo missed a lot of chances, took a long while to get their game together. Those 2 goals did so much for the game, by McHale and by Finnerty. If they'd come a great deal earlier, who knows what might have happened. A good catch by Liam Hayes when most needed. The pass forward. Vivian Murtagh, oh, very high challenge. A dangerous challenge by Dennis Carney, and the book has to come out. Vivian Murtagh, the substitute, introduced in the last 10 minutes as Carney pleads his case, but that was high and dangerous. The referee had no doubts at all, or indeed I think should anybody else. So a free in, which Brian Stafford will take. Finian Murtagh is back on his feet. And this will absolutely seal Meath's victory, I feel, with 3 minutes of injury time played. Brian Stafford kicks. It's Meath's 16th point. He's got 9. Fine contribution. He says, surely that's it, referee. 7 points between the teams, and there it is. It's Meath who go forward to the All-Ireland final, the county's 11th appearance in the decider. They got a bit of a fright in the last 15 minutes from a very gallant Mayo team. Full credit to both teams for a semi-final which ends Meath 16 points, Mayo 2 goals and 5. And the Royal County's dream of a 2 in a row is very much still alive. It'll be a Meath-Cork final as expected. So the followers and fans come on to cheer their heroes. It was a little bit below standard and below the high standards of Meath in the second half, rocked by the goals, as we said earlier, by McHale and then by Finnerty. And had they got another goal there, which was disallowed, who knows what might have happened. Kilgallen played his heart out. He had a terrific game and he sorely tested Hayes and McEntee at midfield. Meath having plenty of room for improvement, I feel, which is a position which they'll probably like in any case, because everybody will be saying, well, they're going to be in quite a match against a rampant Cork side. It's the makings of a very good final, indeed both finals next month, the hurling and the football. They're as predicted and as expected, I suppose, for the last 12 months, and we're all looking forward to them.
Yes, we are indeed. Well,
it could have been a different story. Very disappointed if we got that goal, the one that I scored. I think I was in the square. If we got that goal, we might have made a better game.
Fair enough, a tremendous last quarter comeback. You could hardly believe it at half-time, could you?
We wasted too many chances in the second half. We wasted a lot of chances at the start of the first half as well. You won't beat Meath if you miss a lot of chances.
But you covered yourselves in glory with that tight fight back in the second half.
It's no good when you lose.
Yes, good. You'd like to come back here again next year.
Yeah, I enjoyed
you
it.
yourself made tremendous sacrifices this year. Do you think they're worth it now?
They're worth it. If we can come back next year and maybe win it.
We're not just all hitting it off at the one time. We did it last year against Cork in the second half. I still think we can do it in 4 weeks' time again as well.
Mention of Cork, they're a stronger looking team this year.
Everyone seems to agree they're a better balanced team than last year. The forwards, with no disrespect to the forwards they had last year, seem a much more a better unit. It must seem a better unit all through. And I think that can only count. That's only a plus for them. But I think we'll be able to counteract that. I hope we will anyway.
When we were bad, we were very bad. When we were good, we were very good. And unfortunately, I thought at many occasions during the game, we just didn't exercise enough control on the possession we had.
You looked dead and buried at half-time, yet in the last 15-20 minutes it was Mayo who looked the All-Ireland champions.
Yeah, but in fairness, there was a very, very strong wind out there, and it was very difficult playing into it in the first half, very difficult to direct passes and very difficult to kick into it. But certainly over the last 15 minutes, I think we rallied in adversity, really. We had lost a number of our influential players, and fair play to TJ Kilgallen. He came back and he really gave a masterly performance in the last 15 minutes. He's a marvellous player.
And in the first half too, yeah.
He's a tremendous player, really a great, the unsung player on our team. I can't understand why people in the national media don't give him the credit he deserves.
Well, I'd imagine that Jimmy Burke was a big loss to us. Not making excuses now, but he's kind of one of our strongest players up front, and we regard him as being our target man. And when he had to leave the field early, it was a big loss. We had some maybe inexperienced forwards playing. I hope the occasion has been a learning one for them. What we really got to do is try and go back and work on our game and maybe come back and retain a Connacht title or two and get used to playing in Croke Park. Meath have probably played here about 5 or 6 times this year, and there's no substitute for that. That was a big advantage for them, I think, coming up against a team like us.
There has to be a future for the team. They put in great fight. The one tribute that I would like to pay to them today was they never died and they never will die, and it's, we'll be back.
A lot of people have talked about Meath and them being unbeatable. I don't think that's true. But at the same
You
time,
showed that today, I think.
Well, we did spasms maybe, but I think Meath will be hard to beat at the same time. It's going to be a good final, I think. Let's hope it is too.
Oh, I feel fine physically. Very disappointed though. Very disappointed. That's the 5th time I've lost a semi-final, and very, very disappointed.
It goes back to something like 72, 73, which you can't get easier.
1972, it doesn't get any easier, Jim. No. But still, legs feel fine. There isn't any bother in the legs now. It's just the spirit's a little bit dampened.
There hasn't really been, Brian, an outstanding game of football this year in the Championship, in my view. Do you think the All-Ireland Series needs a showpiece final?
I'd be inclined to agree with that comment, yeah. It has all the makings of being a good final. I think you have definitely the best 2 teams in the country in an All-Ireland final. I hope both sides go out with the intention of playing good open football and treating everybody to a really, really good game of football.
Well, I suppose those are the might-have-beens of the game. Mayo are out of the Championship now. Will they be back again?
I hope not. I would have to say.
Well said by...
Yes, indeed. Spoken like a true Roscommon man. Well, let me turn now to Enda Colleran in the studio. Enda, Meath, the winners, the deserving winners, but I said there this afternoon, perhaps Mayo tonight will be thinking about the might-have-beens of that game.
Yes, I'm sure they will, really, because they started off in cracking pace. I thought it was going to be a really terrific game. Mayo playing very well, and at midfield they had a monopoly, really, against such vaunted opposition as Liam Hayes and Jerry McEntee. Now, their build-up was very good all the time, but they lacked penetration in the forward line, and I thought that their full forward line in particular let the side down in a way because they weren't able to grab the vital scores. Little by little, on crumbs of possession, Meath made use of their experience and they scored some good points, and it did look at half-time as if the game was practically over, and then Meath continued like that in the second half. But then Mayo got a grip and 2 goals and 1 disallowed, and it was anyone's game, and it led to a very hectic finish.
Well, you mentioned Mayo at midfield, and certainly Mayo can have absolutely no complaints about the supply of the ball that they were given by their midfield players today.
No, they got a marvellous supply of ball into the forward line, and I've said in the past that Mayo are probably the best team in Ireland at building up attacks from the back. But when they get into the scoring area, that's when the problems arise. And here again we see a very patient build-up from Mayo, and a lot of interpassing, and they're willing to take their time, find their man, pass the ball around. And then when they do get possession after very hard work, they give it away rather easily, and I think that was a big fault today, the type of ball they played into their full forward line. A lot of good work on us. Here again, nice interpassing between Dermot Flanagan and TJ Kilgannon, but then the ball into this open space in front of the goal where certainly Mayo didn't have anybody, and very often it was Mick Lyons or Porrick Lyons that were there to pick up possession.
Now, mind you, it has to be said that, as TJ Kilgallen said in the interview there, they did lose their target man, Jimmy Burke, very early on in the game, which I'm sure upset their plans. But Meath, for their part, we didn't see some of the nice flowing movement that we've become used to from this Meath team over the last 12 months, or very little of it anyway.
That's true, and I suppose that's a tribute to Mayo, to their tenacity and the way they marked and the way they harassed and everything like that. But we didn't, we are accustomed to seeing a lot of flowing movements and good scores at the end of them. They were curtailed a lot today. Here, in fact, is one of those, a nice movement. They retained possession. Martin O'Connell plays the ball up along the sideline, and Colm Coyle is in a very tight corner here, but keeps a cool head, plays himself out of that onto Liam Hayes, and Liam sends a beautiful pass goalwards. And with the forward running onto it, and Eugene Levin advancing, and a terrible tackle by Eugene Levin. It was a pity that such a good movement ended up like that, and I thought that Eugene Levin was very lucky not to have been sent off for that tackle.
Yeah, so I'm sure that Eugene Levin himself was probably wondering what exactly he was up to in that particular movement. Now, one of the big talking points of this game of course, was that disallowed goal for Liam McHale, which, had it been allowed, would certainly have put a very different complexion on this match. Let's take a look at it again. And now, if we look at it in normal motion, we will see that, sure, it looked like it might have been a goal, but the slow motion replay suggests otherwise.
That's correct, yes. I think Liam was sporting enough after the match to admit that he thought he was inside the square himself. But if we look at the slow motion, and look particularly at the position of the referee and the umpire on the right of the goal, he is pointing, the umpire points very quickly, and the referee, Tommy Sugu, very well positioned right beside the square to see it. And I think it was obvious that he was inside the square when he scored.
And as you said yourself, no complaints from Liam McHale either afterwards.
No, that's correct, yeah.
Now, you mentioned the referee, Tommy Sugu. A word about his performance today.
Very pleased with his performance. At one stage, okay, he was bowled over, but he recovered very quickly. And I think that this is the kind of treatment that a lot of the Monaghan fans were advocating for the referee last week. But we do see him get knocked over. But unlike a lot of the players that went down injured today, he recovered very quickly and was back in action again very soon.
Well, he certainly was indeed. A good performance by the referee today, all round. Right, Andy, your selection of man of the match.
Difficult today because I thought that TJ Kilgannon and Liam McHale from Mayo had particularly good games, as had Mick Lyons from Meath and the full forward Brian Stafford. But the man I've chosen is Mick Lyons because I think he broke Mayo's hearts, because he fielded everything that came into the square, even though very often he wasn't challenged. But he broke their hearts in the sense that everything they sent in was returned. Here we see a great example of his high fielding from a free by Mayo. Once again, another free to Mayo. And Mick shows his tenacity and he's under it again to collect. I think he really broke their hearts because of all the possession they got. Once they kicked it in there, it was returned twice as fast by Mick. So great performance by him.
Well, Andy, we will be seeing Mick Lyons in a month's time leading out Meath against Cork in the All-Ireland football final. However, our next Sunday game will be in a fortnight's time. That's the All-Ireland hurling final between Galway and